So there's a small YouTube channel named Parlo, and you guys already know what I'm gonna be talking about. I mean, come on, you guys asked for it yourselves. Yeah, so apparently, like a couple weeks ago, there's this whole thing that came out about Parlo. His channel got hijacked. Turns out he was going out to like meet somebody who's not underage, by the way. I keep seeing this, but apparently that person's not underage. But yeah, there's that going about, and then there's also like, oh, this whole GoFundMe thing. Yeah, I just want to talk about this real quick because number one, I made a video on this a while ago, and I gotta gloat and brag about how, oh yeah, no, there are a few things here that people didn't really listen to, but I was pretty on the money on that one if I were to say so myself. And number two, it's because I just have the obligation to, since I was the one of the few people that were legitimately bringing up what I believe to be at least valid points. Before we continue, just know everything in here is all just speculation. I can't even verify half of the things I say in here. So just take this entire video as like just me rambling about nothing basically. And yeah, I just need to talk about this real quick. But don't go out there and harassing the people mentioned in this video. Obviously, you shouldn't be going out there and harassing people. That's illegal. And yeah, so with that being said, let's begin. First off, I just want to start off by saying that the things that I said in my initial video on Parlo, my very first video on him, they were all completely different things that Gwamgo was saying in his video. So in my video, I just talked about how, oh, Parlo posts inappropriate thumbnails. He also posts very bad thumbnails, very misleading ones, like for example, the Kaneko Kitten one. And also on top of that, he milks drama. And those were really the only things that I talked about that were worth noting in my video. I didn't really say much else that was related to this current situation. In the current situation, though, apparently Gwamgo alleges that Parlo took out a lot of money in order to buy a plane ticket, and apparently it's confirmed by Parlo himself that he did buy the plane ticket. That happened, and then there were also a few things about how, oh, he talked about these really weird things, raunchy things, in a Google Doc and sent it out to his audience, which is not good considering, surprise, surprise, Gwamgo says that his audience is made up of children. What did I say, guys? What did I say? Don't be putting inappropriate thumbnails because you'll have children in your audience. What did I say? But to get the record straight, I wasn't really right about much other than Parlo allegedly, of course, posting inappropriate content for his audience to see. That is not something that you should be doing. That is very bad no behavior, and you should not be doing that by any means. And that I was kind of on the money on, if I'd say so myself. That's the only thing that I quote unquote got right. But other than that, everything else I was just saying and just being nitpicky about it. It wasn't really anything else that I got right other than quote unquote getting it right on the inappropriate content part. I just want to clear the air on that first. Sorry for the hold up real quick, but before we get into Gwamgo's videos on Parlo, I just want to talk about this document that I've had in my possession for half a year by now, and I never went over it because I never planned on making another video on Parlo, but here we are again. Yeah, so apparently there's this Google Doc that somebody made about half a year ago at this point, and I never looked over it. I skimmed over it briefly, and I'm like, this is probably something that was already in past Parlo drama or something like that with the 50 people that are accusing him of God knows what. And yeah, I just never really looked over it because I thought chances are somebody already looked over this. But I'm starting to look at this and I'm starting to realize, wait a minute, people might have not actually looked over this. So yeah, I'll link this down below in the description. If you don't see it in the description, that means it's an old document or an uncredible document. So yeah, if you don't see it in the description anymore, it's probably because of that. But yeah, the document will be linked down below in the description if you guys want to take a look at it yourselves. I know Parlo doesn't really have a base to actually address these quote-unquote allegations that this document brings. I'm just here to I'm just the middleman of bringing this document over to the public, but I'm not actually involved in this, and I don't want to see that any of this is true because I'm looking at all of these and I'm these are all cropped screenshots. I don't think that these are real. But I'm looking at these now and I'm just whatever, it might help somebody along the way. So yeah, I mean, I'm just sending that out there, I guess. Nothing in this document I heavily encourage everybody to not take these at face value and for you guys to do your own research within your own capacity. And I want you all to know that not everything in here is true, probably. I think that a majority of this seems to be false. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there real quick. I'm so sorry about this. But one more thing that I really want to cram in there just so that way I can make sure, I cover everything. I don't need to make another video on this unless Parlo finally calls me, which this point is related to, by the way. Apparently, remember that one time when Parlo commented on my video just ever so casually, like within like an hour or two of my video going up, and he somehow just immediately replies to it, which is crazy to me. But anyways, so yeah, he did email me, well, not email, oh my gosh, comment to me saying that, oh yeah, if you really want to, we can like hash it out in person, and like we can like, talk man to man, macho man to macho man, or something like that. I don't freaking know. But anyways, yeah, so he messaged me about that, and he was like, yo, let's call. So then I'm like, alright, bet, let's run this fade. And then later on, he doesn't call back. And then after that, I'm like, okay, maybe he's just busy, right? So I schedule another one. It doesn't work. And then he's like, sorry, I'm like too tired. Can we like do this some other time? And then we just never called. We just never called. I'm actually like losing my mind because I could have gotten so many views out of that. But here we are. I cannot get views because this guy's not calling. No. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way as well. I mean, I'm not really interested in calling, but I mean, if Parlo hits me up and goes like, hey, yo, let's call. Yeah, I mean, I don't really mind if you want to like call, we can like talk out like the initial video like we were supposed to, and we can also talk about a few of these things as well. I'll actually start doing like my reading and stuff on like all the past documents that have been released like ever since the very first allegations, the arrests and everything like that. I'll also look into that if I have to, if you do want to start calling. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I just wanted to say Parlo did dodge some of my calls. Well, not dodge exactly, that's probably like a mischaracterization of it, but rather he just didn't call, or he was just like too busy or something. I went to sleep at 8 p.m. and then I woke up at 5 a.m. so that I can do a call with Parlo. That didn't happen, and then like that just kept repeating on for like a couple more days, and that just really pissed me off. So I wanted to like go on a rant about that real quick. And I was late to my nursing class. I was late to my nursing classes sometimes because like I just couldn't get the call with him. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say that real quick. Like that really pissed me off. Now that I'm finally done with my incoherent rants, we can finally go on to like straight to the meat and potatoes of it all, where basically it's just me talking about, like the first video that Gwamgo made on Parlo. It's titled, I'm Disappointed in Parlo, and from my notes, I'm just going to be going over my notes and like the things that I actually want to talk about, instead of the things that should actually be addressed, because, this isn't, I don't even need to do this, but I mean, I kind of feel like doing it, so I'm just doing it. So yeah, the first thing that I want to note up is that apparently Parlo releases some documents that are adulterated in nature describing his relationship with some other person named Wolfgang. And Gwamgo points out that he knows his audience is children. By he, I mean Parlo. Like, he knows that Parlo's audience does have a lot of children on here because it's Roblox content. So posting this was a pretty bad thing to do, and this corroborates my entire inappropriate thumbnail thing, where Parlo has inappropriate content or inappropriate media of some sort and then pushes it out into the public. And because Parlo covers a lot of Roblox drama, that's going to attract a lot of kids, and because there's kids there, you should not be sharing such content to kids. And yeah, that's kind of a bad thing. Obviously, I don't have much else to say about that. We already know why that's bad in the first place. So after that whole, documenting his relationship in very excessive detail type fiasco hullabaloo over there, we start to get to the whole, Parlo took out money from his GoFundMe to fly over to meet somebody named Wolfgang. Now, that obviously that's bad because, you know, if you're starting a GoFundMe, the whole point of GoFundMe is to go fund some person that is broke and needs money because they are in a certain situation that you may or may not be able to sympathize with. And just the fact that you started one implies that you are in a financial hardship of some sort. So obviously, naturally, people are going to be donating to you because, you know, they're your fans. They want you to create more content, and you can't create more content if you are in the situations that you state to be in. So yeah, obviously you can't be taking GoFundMe money just to fly over and meet some random person. And I'm not saying, by the way, I know that some people are in the comments, this is inevitable. Some people are going to be going like, "Oh, Willie Tato, you're homophobic. You're saying that he can't use money that he raised for his own financial personal expenditures in order to meet up some random person that's the same sex as him. You're homophobic." And to that I say, if that makes me homophobic, then I really don't know what to tell you, buddy. You should not be taking money that people are donating to you and using it for a different cause than stated. And that's really about it that I wanted to talk about on this first video. And I also want to talk about how I highly doubt that Gwamgo and his boys actually cut ties with Parlo because of how they were manipulated, but rather because the situation is so publicly bad for them that they decided it would be beneficial to them more if they just cut their losses and in the process cutting off Parlo. But that's just my speculation, and I think, like, to me at least, like, the way I interpret the video, even Gwamgo's like, yeah, this is really bad for me publicly, I'm just gonna cut ties with him because obviously this is not a good look for me or my brand if I were to continue to associate with someone of this of this caliber. So yeah, that's something else that I want to throw out there as well, is that I don't really think that Gwamgo even cares that he got manipulated. I think he's just doing this just so that way not only would he stop getting manipulated, but also mostly because this is a really bad situation for Gwamgo, a quote-unquote former public friend of Parlo now. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out as well. And gee willikers, we move on to the second video, and apparently Parlo's channel got hijacked by some guy named Mugen right before he was going to respond, which I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat here real quick. That is way too coincidental. Like, even Gwamgo says that, oh, Mugen had access to the channel, like, beforehand. So I feel like it isn't a matter of Mugen actually, you know, being this evil person to just, you know, ruin Parlo's reputation and start mass posting inappropriate content, or the narrative that Gwamgo paints, which is where Mugen is actually just trying to get Parlo off the internet. I don't think it's either of those two. In fact, I think, like, this is my conspiracy theory. I have no evidence for saying this, by the way. This is just my speculation based on, like, loose connections that I can make. But I feel like Parlo had Mugen, who had prior access to the channel, and admin of the channel, to start trying to get Parlo banned as fast as possible, you know, just speedrun that entire thing, so that way Parlo can have some, like, the fall guy over here, like Mugen's the fall guy over here, in order to tell everyone, hey, Parlo can't respond because I, Mugen, posted a lot of stuff on Parlo's channel that got his channel terminated, so now Parlo can't respond, ha ha ha. But in reality, my conspiracy theory is that this is all a calculated move in order to get Parlo to not respond and to get him off the internet ASAP. It's killing two birds with one stone. Not only do you get Parlo out of there, you also, you know, save Parlo's reputation by doing that. And I'm not, like, this is baseless, but I'm just saying, there is a potential for this to be happening. Like, in one universe out there, somewhere, this actually happened, but if it is this universe, I'm just saying, I called it. Additionally, in the video, Gwamgo goes over Parlo's response, and to speedrun this real quick, basically, Parlo is trying to tell everyone he's not a groomer or whatever, and yeah, obviously, I mean, there's no evidence that, from what I've seen at least, there's no evidence that suggests that Wolfgang is actually a minor. So I'm not gonna go out there and, like, defend that narrative or attack that narrative at all. Staying on that point for a second here, I feel like Parlo is just getting rage baited. He's seeing every single little accusation that is completely baseless and keeps on attacking it, just so that way he can secure his own mental health and, like, get, like, a small boost of dopamine rather than, like, actually tackling the things that matter, like, for example, the GoFundMe money and things like that. And I just feel like he's also projecting because he's covered so many people that have preyed on so many other people that I just personally feel like that Parlo is just trying to go like, no, I have not become what I sought to destroy, and things like that. Which, I mean, if you're defending it this hard, you might as well spend that energy doing something else to better your life instead of just tackling these baseless accusations. So, yeah, I just don't really understand that whole, oh, I am not a groomer, I am not a groomer. Getting into the fetal position, like, no, like, I think you're good if you didn't touch a kid. Now, another thing that Parlo says in his response is that he's trying to justify the GoFundMe expenses by blaming stress, depression, and all that hullabaloo. And I'm just saying right now, I feel like stress and depression have become like this thing that you can plead in the court of public opinion now. Like, oh, I plead innocent, I plead guilty, I plead the fifth, I plead depression, insanity, and stress. You know, like that's not how that works, because at the end of the day, you either hurt a few people, or in this case, you kind of wasted a lot of people's time, and that was kind of disrespectful for you to be doing that. So yeah, obviously you can't just plead that and all of a sudden think that all your problems get waved away at the flick of a wrist. You can't just do that. Now, this is going to be something that I'm going to call Gwamgo out on, actually, and it's that I feel like Gwamgo was being way too soft in the video. I feel like Gwamgo is just going like, oh, like this, X, Y, and Z. No, get straight to the point, dude. Like, oh, Parlo did X, Y, and Z. That is bad. That is stupid, and Parlo should not be doing that. You shouldn't say, oh, well, I mean, although I'm not trying to say that, like, oh, Parlo is, like, completely innocent or anything like that. He is, you know, a little bit sad. Yeah, I am too. Like, everybody else is sad, dude. Like, obviously, it's just on the person and how they react. And I'm not trying to downplay mental health or anything like that, even though I, like, personally downplay mental health for myself. But I'm not saying that, like, oh, people just use depression as an excuse to do anything. No, I'm just saying that you can call out the action while also acknowledging that they aren't in the right spot. It's just you're calling them out and you're trying to give them guidance by saying that the way you are reacting to your current emotions is not okay by any means, and you need help. And that's something that Gwamgo doesn't really do. Instead, he just goes like, oh, yeah, no, there's like this situation that we need to consider as well. And that, no. There is no excuse for you to be taking GoFundMe money in order to fly over and see some random person just because, you know, you were stressed and depressed. That's bad, and you should directly call him out on it. And I'm also really annoyed that Gwamgo doesn't directly call out the manipulative behavior in this response. In fact, I didn't even write a script for this video, by the way. Normally, like, whenever I write a script for things like this, I would actually, you know, just have the entire thing laid out and I just read off of it. But here, I got so pissed off that I actually, like, just, I don't know, just talking about this actually annoys me to an extent, like, in terms of Gwamgo not directly acknowledging Parlo's manipulative behavior in this response, because now I'm, like, looking at Parlo's script, or, like, alleged script, quote-unquote, that came from Parlo in Gwamgo's Discord server, and I'm looking at it, and look at this line right here. And I want to make it clear that mental health should not even be an excuse for the way I mistreated friends. And then you look at the next line, and it says what Gwamgo and others did in this situation is the morally correct thing for them to do. I should be criticized, and I do not ask to be defended, because my impulsiveness has been a persistent issue for years. And, okay, if it has been, then just say, okay, I am sorry, I am getting the help I need, and you don't need to talk about your own issues, because I'm gonna be frank with you here, like, people like me, I legitimately don't have any feelings towards your issues at all. What matters to me is what you have done, and in this case, what you have done is bad. And now, again, like, I'm not saying I'm like a sociopath or anything like that. Maybe I am, I don't really know. But the point is that there's really no reason for you to be saying things like this, while at the same time repeatedly talking about your own mental issues and, like, your own problems, and you're saying, oh, I am like this, X, Y, and Z. And yeah, I get that you're trying to admit it, but the way you do it is just not executed in a way that I personally would encourage it to be executed again and again if I had to replay that on the Jumbotron. And then if you just want to excuse that for a moment, like, I can understand why people wouldn't agree with me on that part right there, because Parlo is at the end of the day, trying to admit that he has a problem. Okay, sure, I'll give you that. But why is in the video where he's talking about the allegations made against him, he's bringing up Kofi and Ava Chris Tyson along with other people? Why are you bringing these people up? And why are you bringing up the people that are going like, oh yeah, no, they're going to use this as an excuse to try and get back into the community because, Parlo is being discredited? Dude, focus on yourself first. This is the problem. You are too immersed into the internet to the point where you don't even recognize that you are doing the exact same thing that other people are trying to do by deflecting it to other topics. Stay on point. And why does this even need to be 9 pages? This should only be like 2 pages max. Maybe 2.5 if you want to just sell your kidney for a moment here for like an extra page. But other than that, no more than that. Why is it 9 pages of just absolute nothing? Yeah, I didn't read like most of it because it isn't relevant to what needs to be said here. You took money out from other people who thought that you were in a financial hardship, and you took that to go meet somebody else. And at the end of the day, sure, you can plead depression all you want, but that's not going to change the fact that what you did was wrong, and you're still trying to deflect this. And I am mad at not only Parlo for trying to bring it over to the other parts of the conversation, or like other different topics or whatever for the conversation. I'm also mad at Gwamgo for not calling this out, and it just pisses me off to an extent that it shouldn't really piss me off for. And sure, Parlo may or may not know that he's actually like mentally ill. Like he is like saying it a lot here and there, but maybe deep down inside he's like, or like not deep down inside, but maybe like on like a little bit like between the deep down inside and like the surface level, he thinks, yeah, I'm not really mentally ill, but I can just easily use this as like a scapegoat or something like that. But whether or not he's doing that or not, he objectively, like not objectively obviously, because this is all opinionated at the end of the day. I'm just blabbering nothing basically, but at the end of the day, from what I'm perceiving, he is mentally unwell. He needs help. He needs to get off the internet. Well, not like entirely. Like, how's he gonna pass the time? Maybe he can play some Cookie Run Kingdom, #not sponsored. But I'm just saying, he can probably just stay on the internet and like play games, but like not go on social media and post as often, because the way he's doing things right now, it's just not working out for him. I mean, like, I gotta say this, the GOAT is washed here. Like, he can't really be even, like, as he says, he can't even speak for himself anymore, because obviously he has had some bad things, and he needs somebody in his life to push him to go to mental health therapy, whatever that is, and just, get his dookie back together. So, yeah, that's about it. That's all I really gotta say. Overall, this is a huge guano show, like, this is just really messed up. Poo is flinging everywhere, and yeah, there's really nothing I can do about this other than make a video on this and like let everyone know, hey dude, don't watch Parlo anymore, don't give him anything anymore, let him get the help he needs first, and then after that, once he starts getting his ducks in a row, that's when everyone should like, help him and like elevate him to like some new height or whatever. He hasn't touched a kid yet. So, or at least from what I've seen, at least, he hasn't really touched a kid yet officially. It hasn't really been established yet that he's touched a kid. So, yeah, I think that he should probably, do something about his mental health real quick. And then after that, then that's when he can start asking everybody, hey, I kind of need to ask you all a favor to, like, donate to my GoFundMe so that way I can, get my own place, start getting myself situated, get a job, and, just do the things that I feel like would make me happier. Something like that, like formulate a plan after therapy and like after getting some training and like some help on how to be a functioning member of society. Then after that, you can start, getting out there, go get your goat and yeah, just helping himself out, like he shouldn't be on here asking for advice from random strangers. That is a journey for him to be solving for himself. He needs to find his own path in life. And that's all I have for like the summary here, really. And on top of that, I'm going to be deleting my previous farewell Parlo video because I really don't think that should be up. I mean, actually, I don't know. I might keep it up. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about whether or not I should keep that video up. That's about it. That's all I really got to say. overall, everyone should take care of themselves more. Otherwise, you'll spiral down like him. Yeah, you don't want to spiral down. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I really gotta say. I hope you all have a good day, and bye.